Hello and welcome to Daily Reflection with Aneel Aranha. Today's the 10th of November 2019. We're going to reflect on Luke 20:27 to 38. Long one, listen. Some Sadducees, those who say there is no resurrection, came to Jesus and asked him a question. Teacher, Moses wrote for us that if a man's brother dies leaving a wife but no children, the man shall marry the widow and raise up children for his brother. Now there were 7 brothers. The first married and died childless. Then the second and the third married her, and so in the same way all 7 died childless. Finally, the woman also died. In the resurrection, therefore, whose wife will the woman be? For the 7 had married her. And Jesus said to them, those who belong to this age marry and are given in marriage. But those who are considered worthy of a place in that age and in the resurrection from the dead, neither marry nor are given in marriage. Indeed, they cannot die anymore because they are like angels and are children of God, being children of the resurrection. And the fact that the dead are raised, Moses himself showed in the story about the bush, where he speaks of the Lord as the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Now he is God, not of the dead, but of the living, for to him all of them are alive. Then some of the scribes answered, Teacher, you have spoken well, for they no longer dared to ask him another question. The Gospel of the Lord. One of my friends in the old days, the days before my conversion, was fond of saying nothing is permanent. He was speaking mainly in the context of relationships. He'd gotten into many, including a marriage, and all had broken, leaving him bitter and cynical. I used to tell him it needn't be that way, that relationships can and should last. But ever since my conversion, I've come to the understanding that he was right, although perhaps not quite in the manner that he meant. Relationships, especially covenantal ones, are supposed to last, at least as far as the 2 people in the relationship remain alive. But beyond that, nothing is permanent, really. And even this doesn't last beyond the grave. Like everything we consider important today, money, sex, power, fame, prestige, glory, this too will pass away when we die. And when we rise again in the resurrection, none of these will hold any value, not even marriage, as Jesus says in today's passage. So the thought for today, and I really want us to think about this, is to consider what we're investing our time and energy on. I've urged this reflection several times in the past, but because it is really important, but today I want us to consider it, especially in the context of relationships outside of marriage. Think of the investments we make in people and the energy and effort we expend in sustaining them, and let us ask ourselves if it is really worth it, especially because a lot of the time we end up in pain. I have people constantly coming to me with stories about broken relationships and unrequited love and how they simply cannot get the person out of their minds. Although some of the stories are heart-wrenching and I truly understand how they feel, I can't help but think about the sheer waste of energy expended on people. Isn't this energy better expended in thoughts of God, dwelling on Him and His Word? This isn't to say we shouldn't be with people or shouldn't fall in love. We're going to, even if we don't want to. But this is to say that we need to have our priorities right. We need to focus on the things of God. We need to look at things that are permanent. That's eternity. And when we strive towards securing eternity, both for us and those around us, everything comes in perspective. Then all of it, money, sex, power, fame, prestige, glory, and relationships, they all fall into their proper place. I had another reflection on this same passage last year around this time that was very different. You might want to watch that for a few insights on life after death. God bless you.